Let's bring in MS Now reporter Alex Tabbitt live from Minneapolis. Also with us, former acting ICE Chief of Staff under President Biden, Deborah Fleischaker, and former federal prosecutor Ankush Khardori. Alex, so many big developments in the past 24 hours. Bring us up to speed on Congresswoman Omar, President Trump, and the latest on the Preddy investigation.
That's absolutely right, Anna. There's so much going on, including this scary incident that occurred last night while Representative Ilhan Omar was holding a town hall event here in Minneapolis. This is what we know, that during that town hall event, a man seated near towards the front row charged towards Omar, attacked her with a syringe and sprayed liquid through that syringe on her. Now, we don't know what was in that liquid. We do know that it had a pungent smell. It was said to have smelled like vinegar. In the moments after, a security guard tackled that man to the ground. Members of Omar's staff tried to convince her to go receive medical attention, but she refused. She wanted to soldier on. She said that she didn't want to let the bullies win. She said, quote, "Please don't let them have the show." Now, the Minneapolis Police Department did arrest that man and identified him as a 55-year-old Anthony Kazmarziak. But of course, the police are still working to figure out what was in that syringe. Now, after this incident, President Trump did an interview with ABC News where he was asked about it, and this is what he said about Ilhan Omar. "No, I don't think about her. I think she's a fraud. I really don't think about that. She probably had sprayed herself knowing her." So President Trump showing no empathy towards one of his favorite punching bags, Ilhan Omar. And this sort of rhetoric comes after the President Trump had previously claimed that he wanted to turn down the temperature here in Minneapolis. I want you to hear what President Trump had to say.
We're going to de-escalate a little bit, but I will tell you, you look at the numbers, they're doing better than they've done in many years because we took thousands of criminals out of Minnesota.
And of course, that claim that he's trying to de-escalate very much at odds with all of the other rhetoric from the president, including attacking the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, this morning, saying that Frey was, quote, playing with fire for refusing to enforce federal immigration laws. In response, Mayor Frey responded to President Trump, writing on X, quote, "The job of our police is to keep people safe, not to enforce federal immigration laws." Anna?
Ankush, the suspect in this attack against Congresswoman Omar has now been booked into county jail, charged with third-degree assault. What would typically happen next in this kind of incident?
Well, look, I mean, if this were, a normal sort of situation where the local folks could put some trust in the federal officials, they would probably want to bring in the federal government because this is an attack on a member of Congress, and it's very disturbing. And it's occurring in a broader environment where there have been increasing threats to public officials, many of which have been sort of egged on by the president. I mean, the most appalling thing about this series, well, not the most appalling thing, but an appalling thing about these events is, Trump's lack of concern. And this is a theme that has sort of run throughout the recent weeks in Minnesota and Minneapolis. At every step of the way, when the administration should be de-escalating, they escalate and they double down. And so, the Minnesota authorities are doing what they should do to try to bring some order to the situation. But ultimately, the chaos here is being driven by the federal government and the lack of care and control over the deployment of federal officials in the state.